On the unforgiving plains of Gaul, an empire trembles. A warlord, underestimated and unknown, emerges from the shadows, poised to make Julius Caesar bleed. The Roman war machine, relentless and powerful, has never known defeat until now. In this tale of ambition, betrayal, and unexpected heroism, the fate of nations, by the mid-1st century BCE, the Roman Republic stands as a beast with an insatiable appetite, driven by greed and the lust for power. Its relentless expansion has reached the untamed edges of Gaul, a land coveted for its riches and resources. Gaul is not a single kingdom, but a vast tapestry of fierce tribes, reminiscent of modern-day France and Belgium, filled with thick forests and to Rome, these tribes are mere barbarians. To the Gauls, Rome is an invasive force, arrogant and unyielding. The warriors of Gaul are brave, but they are tragically divided, more likely to clash with one another than unite against a common enemy. Julius Caesar, a predator in this brutal landscape, sees an opportunity. He is not merely a general, he is a calculating architect of his own empire, eager for glory. In 58 BCE, Caesar unleashes his legions upon Gaul, claiming his goal is pacification. Yet the word pacify is a mask for the truth. His campaign is one of absolute dominance. Tribe after tribe falls before him, some surrendering, others annihilated. The Roman eagle soars, unchallenged, across the bloody landscape of Gaul. But in the highlands of central Gaul, a young noble watches this devastation unfold. His name is Vercingetorix, born into the Averni elite. His father once dreamed of a united Gaul, but met his end for that ambition. This cursed legacy weighs heavily upon Vercingetorix. When he speaks of resisting Rome, even his own exile does not break him, it forges him into a unifier. When he returns, he is no longer just a warrior, but a leader capable of rallying the fractured tribes. In 52 BCE, he sends out a clarion call across Gaul. Rome must be resisted. Surprisingly, the tribes listen, drawn together not by strength, but by the promise. Suddenly, Caesar faces a coordinated uprising instead of scattered resistance. Vercingetorix's strategy is brutal yet brilliant. He decides to scorch the earth. If Rome feeds off the land, then Gaul will leave it barren. Grain stores are destroyed, bridges are dismantled, towns abandoned and set ablaze. This scorched earth policy shocks even his allies, but Rome's legions, accustomed to swift victories and ample supplies, begin to falter. Their momentum, once unstoppable, is choked by a land turned to ash. Then comes Gergovia, a city chosen by Vercingetorix for its natural defenses. Caesar, desperate to crush the rebellion, makes a catastrophic error. He attacks uphill into a trap, leading to a chaotic and bloody retreat. For the first time, the invincible Roman legions taste defeat. Hundreds lie dead, and Caesar's vulnerability ignites a flicker of hope across Gaul. Yet, victory breeds risk. Vercingetorix knows the rebellion is not over. He retreats to regroup, seeking another stronghold. He chooses Alasia, a colossal fortress strategic. Caesar shadows him relentlessly, his armies like wolves on the hunt. The hunt is never meant to end in retreat, but after Gergovia, the tides are shifting. Vercingetorix understands he must fortify his position and force Caesar to come to him. Alasia, with its natural defenses, becomes the battle. But Caesar, in a move no one expects, constructs a double wall around Alasia, entrapping the Gauls within. 10 miles of trenches, towering palisades, and watchtowers form an intricate nightmare. Outside, a massive relief army of 250,000 warriors races to break the siege. Inside, 80,000 Gauls face. The Roman forces are boxed in, with Caesar and his 50,000 troops caught between two impossible forces. The siege transforms into a brutal countdown. The relief army strikes with ferocity against the outer wall, while Vercingetorix launches desperate attacks from within. Arrows rain down, towers burn, and at a critical moment, the outer wall nearly crumbles. Caesar, with grim determination, rushes to the breach. He fights alongside his beleaguered men, Roman discipline hanging by a thread. Silence falls as the relief army, bloodied and exhausted, finally retreats. Inside Alasia, Vercingetorix realizes the truth. No one is coming. The last hope has vanished. He dons his armor one final time, mounting his horse for a final act of defiance. In a moment that echoes through history, he rides out through the Roman lines and surrenders. Without a word, without a cry, he dismounts and lays his weapons at Caesar's feet. The rebellion, once a flickering flame, is extinguished. Gaul falls under Roman control, and Rome celebrates with a triumph, a grand procession of victory and glory. But for Vercingetorix, the triumph marks the beginning of his end. Shackled and chained, he is marched out of Gaul, not as a king, but as a trophy of conquest. For 6 long years, he dwells in a dank Roman prison, under the weight of despair and the weight of history. When Caesar returns, he orchestrates a celebration unlike any Rome has ever seen. The streets are filled with the spoils of war, and the people hail him as a god. Amidst the adoration, Vercingetorix walks in chains, head bowed, surrounded by indifferent guards. The crowd roars for Caesar, a tide of exhilaration, yet many gaze upon the defeated king with solemn respect. They know the end of this grand parade signifies the end of Vercingetorix. In a chilling moment, he is led away to the dark depths of the Tullianum, Rome's most feared prison. There in the suffocating darkness, he meets a swift and brutal end, strangled without ceremony. No audience, no final farewell, just the calculated silence that follows the fall of a once great leader. Yet in a twist of fate, despite all, Caesar never speaks. In Commentary Debalogue, Caesar reveals a surprising admiration for Vercingetorix. He doesn't brand him a savage. Instead, he recognizes him as a strategist, a unifier, a worthy opponent. Even in defeat, Vercingetorix earns what few adversaries of Rome ever received: respect. In death, he transcends the label of a vanquished rebel, becoming a symbol of resilience. The war may conclude, but the story of Julius Caesar and Vercingetorix is far from over. Their conflict did not just determine the fate of Gaul, it forever altered the course of Western history. Vercingetorix in life may have lost the brutal battle, but in death, he transforms into something greater, a myth. Centuries later, in France, he rises as a national hero. During the 19th century, as the nation sought to reclaim its historical roots, Vercingetorix emerges as a founding figure. The first man to unify France, he stands defiantly against the overwhelming might of an empire. Even Napoleon, centuries after, orders a statue of Vercingetorix to be erected at Elyse-Centre, believed to be the hallowed ground of Alesia. Below the statue, an inscription proclaims, "Gaul united, forming a single nation, animated by the same spirit, can defy the universe." The man who lost. Meanwhile, Caesar returns from Gaul, basking in unmatched glory and immense riches. Yet, victory breeds ambition, and ambition, within the treacherous realm of Roman politics, invites relentless enemies. In less than a decade, those who fear his unchecked power will plunge daggers into his flesh, ending his life. The very republic he fought to strengthen and expand spirals into chaos, collapsing into an empire ruled by emperors, a consequence birthed from the conquest. Caesar builds the foundation for Rome's golden age, yet simultaneously ignites the fuse that dismantles the republic. Vercingetorix and Caesar represent two sides of the same coin. One strives to unify a fractured land beneath a banner of resistance, the other relentlessly pushes to expand an ambitious empire. Their rivalry, though fleeting, concludes in the dust of Alesia. Yet, their legacies endure, entwined. They may have never stood as equals on the battlefield, but within the grand tapestry of human memory, their names forever breathe the same air, linked by a conflict that defined their existence. In the epic clash of Rome and Gaul, conquest might have claimed the day, but the spirit of resistance remained.